Have you ever watched that good-looking friend of yours crash and burn with women, while the average-looking guy somehow walks away with a number? According to a groundbreaking study across 37 different cultures, 89% of women ranked kindness as their number one priority in a mate. Not looks, not money, not status. But here's what's fascinating. Women aren't just looking for nice guys. The science reveals something much more counterintuitive about female attraction. Today, I'm going to reveal why the traits you think make the perfect guy are actually dead wrong, why women consistently choose what appear to be average men, and the evolutionary psychology that explains it all. The answers might surprise you, but they're backed by decades of research most dating coaches won't tell you about. But first, let me ask you this question. If I showed 100 women a photo of a super attractive guy with a sports car versus an average looking guy who demonstrates one specific trait, who do you think they'd choose? The answer coming up might completely change how you approach dating. Let's start with a reality check. Every day I hear from guys who say things like, women only want tall, rich guys with six-pack abs. You need to be in the top 20% of looks to get any attention. Nice guys finish last. Here's the thing. The data completely contradicts these beliefs. A comprehensive analysis of dating patterns across 45 countries shows that most women end up with partners who are, wait for it, pretty average looking. But why? Are women just settling? Are they lying about what they want? Neither. The reality is much more fascinating. Think about our primate cousins for a second. When a female chimpanzee chooses a mate, does she pick the one with the most bananas? Sometimes. The physically strongest? Occasionally. But what researchers have found is that she often chooses males who show specific social behaviors that benefit her survival. Human females are operating on a similar, but far more complex algorithm. And understanding this algorithm changes everything about how attraction works. Here's the contradiction that will explain everything. Women's conscious preferences often don't match their unconscious selection criteria. What they say they want isn't always what triggers attraction. So what are women actually looking for? Let's break down the evolutionary psychology. To understand female attraction, we need to understand that women's brains evolved solving a very different problem than men's. For our female ancestors, choosing the wrong partner meant potentially dying during childbirth, being abandoned with a helpless infant, losing access to resources needed for survival, risking abuse or neglect. This created what scientists call a dual mating strategy. Women unconsciously evaluate men on two separate tracks. 1. Genetic quality, will he produce healthy offspring? 2. Investment potential, will he stick around and provide? But here's where it gets interesting. The way these criteria express themselves in the modern world isn't what most guys think. Take height, for example. While studies show women prefer taller men, what they're actually responding to isn't the height itself. It's the underlying signal of protective capability. A 5'8" guy who demonstrates he can handle conflict and remain calm under pressure often beats out a 6'2" guy who avoids confrontation. This is what I call the security paradox. Women aren't attracted to superficial indicators of security, like muscles or money. They're attracted to demonstrations of security-providing behavior. Remember that study I mentioned at the beginning? The one showing kindness as the number one trait women want worldwide. Here's what most people miss. Women don't want generic kindness. They specifically value kindness directed at them and their circle, while maintaining boundaries with others. This is what I call selective kindness. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine two scenarios. Scenario 1, guy is super nice to everyone, including people who disrespect him or her. Scenario 2, guy is especially kind and attentive to her, but establishes clear boundaries with others who cross lines. Which do you think women find more attractive? Study after study confirms it's scenario 2. Why? Because it demonstrates both the capacity for care and the ability to protect. The second most important trait? Intelligence. But not in the way you might think. While 85% of women rate intelligence as crucial, they're not looking for academic credentials. They're evaluating problem-solving ability. Can you navigate life's challenges effectively? Think about it evolutionarily. A man who could solve problems meant the difference between survival and starvation. Now, here's where it gets controversial. Contrary to popular belief, women are strongly attracted to ambition and drive. 82% rate it indispensable. Even more than physical attractiveness, only 61%. This explains the average guy phenomenon. When a man demonstrates selective kindness, problem-solving intelligence, ambition, and direction, he instantly becomes more attractive than a physically perfect specimen lacking these traits. But wait, there's something else fascinating going on beneath the surface. Did you know women's brains are literally hardwired to run a subconscious evaluation when they meet a potential partner? It's like having security software constantly running in the background. Here's what that evaluation looks for. 1. Emotional stability, 78% priority. Can he handle stress without breaking down or lashing out? 2. Protective capacity, 75% priority. Not just physical strength, but the willingness to handle confrontation when necessary. 3. Genuine confidence, 71% priority. Not arrogance, but comfort in his own skin without needing to prove anything. 4. Future reliability, 69% priority. Indicators he can and will provide resources consistently. Here's where most dating advice completely misses the mark. These traits aren't about what you say, they're about what you demonstrate through behavior. Let me give you another example from evolutionary biology. When female apes choose mates, they don't pick based on who beats their chest the loudest. They observe who consistently provides food, who protects the group during threats, and who maintains stable relationships within the troop. Similarly, women aren't primarily evaluating your pickup lines or profile pictures. They're gathering behavioral data points about these core traits. This is why average guys who demonstrate these traits consistently outperform perfect-looking guys who don't. But there's another fascinating layer to this. Now, I'm going to reveal something that research has uncovered, but most women won't openly admit. Studies show women are powerfully attracted to what psychologists call benevolent dominance, being strong but not aggressive, assertive but not hostile, protective but not possessive. This manifests in specific behaviors that trigger attraction. 1. Taking initiative, making decisions, and leading situations. 2. Competence under pressure, handling problems calmly. 3. Protective instincts, not just physical protection, but emotional and social protection too. 4. Selective attention, being discerning about who gets your time and focus. The takeaway? The perfect guy isn't physically perfect, he's behaviorally optimal. He demonstrates the right combination of kindness, competence, and confidence. So how can you apply this knowledge? Here are the key takeaways. 1. Focus on developing emotional stability. This means handling stress, rejection, and conflict with maturity. Women can sense this within minutes of interaction. 2. Demonstrate problem-solving ability, not by bragging about your skills, but by actually resolving issues that arise naturally. 3. Show ambition and direction. Having clear goals and actively working toward them is more attractive than current status. Practice selective kindness. Be especially attentive and kind to her while maintaining appropriate boundaries with others. 5. Develop genuine confidence, not through pickup techniques, but through actual competence and self-acceptance. Remember, women's attraction systems evolved to identify men who would both provide good genes and be reliable partners. The modern translation of those ancient preferences is what creates the average guy phenomenon. And here's the most important insight of all. Women aren't looking for perfect men. They're looking for men who are genuine, growing, and genuinely care about their well-being while maintaining their own strength and direction. That's why average guys who master these fundamentals consistently outperform perfect guys who don't. The science is clear. What matters most isn't how you look, but who you are. Not what you have, but what you do. Not the impression you make, but the impact you have. So the next time you see an average guy with an amazing partner, remember, he's probably not average at all in the ways that truly matter to women. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for more science-backed insights on relationships and human behavior. And let me know in the comments, which of these traits surprised you the most? Until next time, focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not someone else's idea of perfect.